Here we go. Can we welcome, please, to the stage Akiva Solemani?
Well, hello everybody. I'm nervous, but right. My name's Akiva. I was a maths teacher for 40 years. I'm retired now. We moved down to St Leonard's about 4 years ago from London, North London, not. And I love it here. You probably think that this talk is going to be a diatribe against people moving down from London, but it's not. It's very misleading. But at the end of the talk, you'll understand why I've written that as the title. Now, from when I was a teenager, I think I've been very interested in trying to do cryptic crosswords. And about 25 years ago, I thought I'd have a go at compiling crosswords myself. And it's been reasonably successful. For the past 18, 19 years, I've had them published in a magazine. They pay me like 250 quid each one, so that's all right. So tonight it's going to be about cryptic crosswords and how to solve them. Now, I apologise in advance. I'm sure most of you are very good. I'm sure most of you are very good at doing cryptic crosswords anyway, so forgive me if I'm, teaching you something you know already. But hopefully you'll find it entertaining anyway. Now, cryptic crosswords. Most cryptic crosswords are in sort of two bits. One bit is a straightforward definition of the answer, and the other bit is the cryptic bit, how the letters are arranged or something like that. But you never know if the straightforward definition bit is coming first or at the end. It's never in the middle. And basically your brain has got to try and consider every possible meaning of every possible word and phrase in the clue and find the best combination of those meanings to get the answer. Now, one of the very common type of clue is anagrams. Now, almost anything can count as an anagram indicator. If it is an anagram clue, there's got to be something in there that suggests to you that it is an anagram. So all these words could count as an anagram indicator. Right, first example. By the way, all these examples I'm giving you are clues that I have actually used in my crosswords. Right. Famous Italian version of vindaloo and rice. Now, is the answer rice? Is the answer famous? Is the answer famous Italian? Well, version of indicates an anagram. So if you jumble up the letters of vindaloo and rice, I mean, if any of you get... Brilliant. Yes, do feel free to shout out the answer. Okay, next one. Noel Smith's car crashed. Or crashed can be an anagram indicator. The letters are crashing. Smith's car's 9 letters. Christmas. So it's not Noel, it's Noel, see? So different meanings, Noel. Next one. This is a reasonably easy one. Pasta for Rocky Marciano. Rocky can be an anagram indicator. Macaroni, yes. Next one. Right, actress from Germany. Now this is a sort of subtle anagram because it's like from the letters of the word Germany. Meg Ryan. Right, another type of clue is a sort of double meaning type clue. So, for example, horse and badger. Sounds like the name of a pub, but it's a word that means horse and it means badger. Well, badger could be a verb. That's right, nag. All right. What about this one, double meaning? Don't eat quickly. It means don't eat, and it means quickly. Fast. Right. This is a reasonably hard one. Goes round in women's clothes. Nothing to do with being transvestite. Skirts. Goes round skirts. Skirts an area. Right. Another type of clue is what's called a lurker, where the answer is actually written in the clue. So, for example, bird displayed in Science Museum, 3 letters. Well, emu. End of science, beginning of museum, emu. But this one. Being bored amongst rotten nuisances. Ennui. You're getting very good at this. Right. Right now, reverse lurker. That's sort of something in the clue written backwards. Dwelling amongst backward schoolgirls. 5 letters. What's written backwards inside schoolgirls? Igloo. This is an easy one. Hat worn backwards by prize fighter. 3 letters. Fez inside. Right. Initials. This is a type of clue that uses initials. Right. When I polish, everything starts to get clean. Well, starts, what does starts mean? It means the starts of those words. W-I-P-E. Right, very good. Right, right, this one. I had terrible trouble cluing this, so I had to use initials to get this one. Initially, Kenyan is glad about living in African capital. Kigali, that's right, K-I-G, etc. Right. Next one is something, sometimes a clue mixes 2 types of clues. This one's anagram and initials. Right, Petula Clark initially playing Juliet, for example. Right. So, Clark initially is C, Petula and C, play anagram of Petula and C. Who is Juliet? Capulet, very good. Right, so sometimes you can get a mixture again, an anagram and a double meaning. Right, a cinema, weirdly, providing pasty. Well, anagram of a cinema, but is it pasty? It might be pasty. An email. Right, next one. Flour settles nerves. Now be very careful, often compilers use flower, but really they mean flower, which could refer to a river. So anagram of nerves, it's a river? 7, that's right. Okay, what's often used a lot in crosswords are abbreviations. So you've got to be familiar with a lot of common abbreviations. For example, Roman numerals. Right, 100 is C, 50 is L, 10 is X, 5 is V, 1 is I, 1,000 could be M or K. Right? The NATO phonetic alphabet you've got to be familiar with. For example, Romeo would be R, the letter R, Yankee would be Y, Golf would be G, Hotel would be H, etc. Another thing that's commonly used is abbreviation of chemical elements. So if you see iron, it's Fe, silver is Ag, tin is Sn, copper is Cu, etc. States in the USA are often used as abbreviations. California would be Ca, Georgia Ga, Oregon OR, etc., etc. Now, sometimes countries' international vehicle registrations are used, right, in clues. So, Spain, if you see Spain, it's often the letter E, España. Germany wouldn't be G, it would be D, Deutschland, etc. A lot of cricketing terms. I think most compilers must be cricket nuts. So these are very common. Over, out, duck would be the letter O. Old or bald would be the letter B. wicket would be W, etc. And then there are miscellaneous abbreviations. Student would be L plate. Men or soldiers would be OR, which stands for other ranks. It took me about 10 years to realise that that was an abbreviation to use, other ranks. Soldier would be GI. Sailor would be Jack, Tar, or AB, or ABS, able seaman. University is U. Awards would be OBE, MBE, CH, or OM, Order of Merit. On board, if you see on board, it's often a word inside SS, you know, inside a steamship. Sorry about that, but that's what they use. Right, anything basically except as an abbreviation can be used. Right, here's an example. 150 encourage old party leader. Well, what's 150? 100 is C, 50 is L. Word to encourage? Egg. Clegg. Remember him? Right, student in total hovel. Well, student is L, inside a word for total, meaning hovel. Slum. L inside slum. This one, wise men with many years on board. Right, on board, something between S and S. Many sages. See, it's not that hard. Okay, now, sometimes there's clues that use oddly, or evenly, or alternately, or regularly. Right, for example, stop by oddly and cry. Now, oddly here means count the odd letters. First letter is S, third letter is O, fifth letter is B. So, another example, sack every other one amongst Manxmen. What's every other letter? A-X-E, axe. Right? Right, another example, removing a letter. So, bent down, removing a broken anklet. Right, this is a bit of an anagram. Broken anklet, anagram of anklet, removing a, meaning bent down, knelt. Right. Shade is enormous, but not good. So not good means you remove the letter G. Huge. Right, sometimes you substitute a letter. Right, governess putting one in place of a simpleton. Well, what the word for governess? Nanny. Putting one, which is I, in place of A, Ninny. So you can actually work these things out. Right, this is quite hard. A Nazi street removed a shop front board. So what's the word for Nazi? Fascist. Street removed. You're removing street. You're not removing A. Fascia. Yeah, very good. Right? So it's fascist with street, S-T removed, just putting an A in them. Right. Sometimes one word inside another word. Brave person is in bed with cigar. So a word for brave person, inside a word for bed, and the whole thing means a cigar. Cheroot, very good. Now this one I apologise for, but when I saw this word, I've never heard this word before, but I had to use it in a clue because it was irresistible. Mrs. Trump holds award for love of music. Now, who's Mrs. Trump? Melania, and one of the awards was OM, Order of Merit. Melomania is the love of music. I'm sorry, I just had to use that in one of my crosswords when I saw it. So you do learn new words when you do crosswords. Right, another type of clue is building blocks. So, a kid is relaxed. 2 letters and 4 letters. Right, a kid. Kid could be a verb. What's the word? Another word to kid someone? To tease them. So, at ease. is relaxed. Adjust behind stove. Well, for this you've got all the meanings of behind and all the meanings of stove, and you get the word adjust. That's rear range. You probably need to get some letters for that before you solve it. Right, now this is, I love this one because it's my football team. Child 10 has a meat and spicy egg in club. So the answer's a club. That's right. Tot, 10, ham, hot, spicy and egg. I apologise for that. Right, sounds like. Now some clues tell you it sounds like the answer. This is a relatively easy one.
Ugly.
Ugly, unattractive sounding fruit. So it sounds like ugly, but it's that. Sounds like a deity's more unhealthy monster. So it sounds like deities, gods, more unhealthy.
Godzilla.
Godzilla, very good. Right, so it sounds like Godzilla, it sounds like deities are more unhealthy. Right, Cockney, you get Cockney clues, which basically means you just drop the H in something. So if you'll look at that. So beer is healthy. Ale. Spoonerisms. Now these are great spoonerisms. They're very rare to have spoonerisms because they're quite difficult to do. Right. Composer to express. You know what spoonerism is? You swap over the first letters or sounds of two words. Composer to express disapproval of blouse for Spooner. Right, so the spoonerism comes at the end, because Spooner comes at the end, so it means composer. What's the word to express disapproval? Boo. And a blouse, shirt. Right, dance with Spooner's carafe of beer. Right, so it means dance, because it's Spooner's carafe of beer. Well, I'll tell you this, it'll take forever to guess it. Jitterbug, bitter jug, jitterbug. Right, now miscellaneous clues, or just basically misleading clues. Two of these fibbers have trousers in flames. Now this doesn't follow any particular category. Pants on fire?
Liar.
Right. What are you doing? Now, if you're doing a crossword and you see this clue, well, what are you doing?
Crosswords.
So the answer will just be crossword. Right, mates must be found for man on board. Board, think of chess. You have to mate. So for what man has to be mated? So the answer will just be king. Right, sports car, Romeo abandoned. Very good, Alpha. Right. Now this one, this is one of my favourite. Visiting girl of 3, there's treasure one secures. Now if you read it like that, it's like a 3-year-old girl. That's right. If you read it like this, visiting girl of 3 bears, treasure one secures. So treasure gold, I one secures lots. Right. Short maybe, balding perhaps, beginning to turn red. Well, it's not physical characteristics. People who's called short and balding?
Claire.
Claire, when beginning to turn, first letter of turn, T, claret. The whole thing means red. Right, why do cryptic crosswords? It exercises your brain, it widens your vocabulary, it's sociable, it provides aesthetic pleasure, it can be amusing, it's a lot of fun, and it keeps me in business as well. So now, finally, before I do my last slide, Tim and Alison are going to give out a crossword. I've made a crossword for you to take home, to have a go at. And there'll be a prize send it on to me. Write it in pencil in case you need to rub out things. Send it on to me and I'll put them all in a bag. After 2 weeks, I'll pick the one out, the first one out that's all correct, and you'll get a book token. So, now I'll give you a helping hand. I'll tell you the answer to one of the clues, and you'll see how it's connected to the title. 28 across on your crossword. East London arses moving down here. Well, moving is the anagram indicator. So anagram of East London arses. Thank you.
Akiva Solemani.